to the bad guy. Yeah, Chico. Yeah, Chico. You're talking to the bad guy. Toothpicking your eye. I'm that guy. Hey, y'all. Look, something happened to these, something happened to you, okay?
What's going on, everybody, man? It's Coach Byers here on SMACM World. I have a very special guest. Introduce yourself, please.
Prince Jones, Coach Prince Jones.
Man, Coach Jones, man, was a legendary track, football coach, whatever you want to call him, man. He did it all at Gulfport High, man. Really glad to have you here, man. First thing we do before you even get into the interview, Coach, man, I got to edify you, man. I got to give you your just due. Really appreciate you, what you did for the community of Surrey City and the whole city of Gulfport. How you just poured into young men and young women's lives, and thinking positive to them, and then getting on to them when they needed to be get on to. I'm one of those young men that you definitely did that too, man. Thank you for everything you did for us, man. Especially for me and my family, man. I can keep going on and on, man, but really just so happy for you with all these accomplishments that you still getting at this after retirement, man. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, man. So let's go and get into your interview, Coach. You'll talk about your journey, man. You're from Surrey City, man. That's a special place to both of us. Talk about how it was growing up in Surrey City and going to 33rd High.
Well, it's going to be real controversial and debate on what was the best neighborhood, but we thought by far Surrey City was the best neighborhood at that time. We was able to have our own theater, our own cleaners, barber shops, grocery stores. We kind of had like everything that we wanted. I recall in 1962 where we had 4 starters on the basketball team from Surrey City. Yeah. My 2 brothers, Bob and Prince, and Charles Leonard, but that kind of went apiece. But being from Surrey City, we was poverty, which probably everybody else that went to 33rd, but we just stuck together. We had track meets at night.
Wow. We
played basketball all day. We caught the football all day. Just growing up, we jogged to school every morning. At first, when we first started, they didn't have buses, but then they got buses. So we just left them alone, and we just really enjoyed playing ball at 33rd. 33rd had so many great athletes. I could name 56 right off.
Absolutely.
I mean, big time athletes.
Absolutely.
So we know that 33rd was special, and I tell everybody when they're building the job code right now, I said, well, we know that it's in our mind and our hearts of what we did at 33rd, but it needs to be done, so that's going to be good for the community. But
absolutely,
it was a great honor to go to 33rd.
Absolutely. My mom attended 33rd. She gave me stories about when y'all played, and just the time it was. It was just a great time. During the civil rights movement, it was still segregated, but it still was good times, and it's a rich history that I'm just glad you was able to get on here and talk about it. What is your fondest memories of 33rd? What was the probably most memorable moments you have?
Well, I probably get in trouble with this. When I made the Mississippi Valley Hall of Fame, I was asked that same question, and I told them my fondest remembrance is that when I scored 55 points on a Friday night, and then on Saturday I scored 55 again, and I said if I'm not gonna ever tell the school because they know it happened.
Yeah.
But I just said those two was my fun. Plus,
yeah,
I won't ever forget Parents' Night. My dad didn't like basketball, so he'll stay in the car. And my mother, when they have Parents' Night, it was 3 of us starting.
Okay.
So my mother would, Bob and I would go first, and then Willie B would go last. So it was 3 of us starting at the same time, and so I thought that was real fun remembrance, and just so many remembrance. We played. Kids can't do it now. We play 3 and 4 ball games a day.
Oh, man.
One set of uniforms. We take them off and dry them on the heater in the library.
Yeah.
But it wasn't nothing for a game to start at 11 o'clock at night.
Say what, Coach?
Yes, I don't remember playing at 1 a.m. in the morning and then got to get up and go to church the next morning.
Man.
So it was.
So y'all playing on Saturday nights, late at night. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't see, Coach. You giving me some
and
history,
then,
man. I love that.
you go to football. We could never use the stadium until Gulfport High was out of town. Now, if they was out of town, we play on Fridays. But if they was in town, we always had to play on Saturday nights.
Okay.
So we but again, football, basketball, and track. We only had the 3 sports, but they was all strong. Had so much participants, and I remember my senior year, you had 8 people just off the basketball team got scholarships.
That's unreal. That's unheard of now. I mean, nowadays that's not, that was common probably for 33rd then.
Yeah.
It's not as common as it is now. Willoughby, who's your brother, Mr. Willoughby. Let me correct myself.
Yeah, well, he was.
Yeah. He. Me and him used to talk all the time, and I used to just sit down for hours and listen to him talk about how he played football and he scored 7 touchdowns one game. And I said, man, I never scored that many touchdowns. I think I got to about 5. That was about it. But it was just fun,
He
listening
was
to
the
him
best
talk.
athlete in the family.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Yeah, man.
He was special.
Yeah, he was, man.
Ran
God bless his soul,
he
man.
ran 47 quarters in track.
Man, see, he didn't even get on the track. So he used to talk about. I had my dad on, and he's the one that introduced me. Him and my dad was the one that introduced me to golf.
Okay.
So that's I always had a love for golf because they always used to take me out in the yard and play. But yeah, man, that's some real good stuff, man. So you didn't stay at 33rd forever, man. You did go to Mississippi Valley. Let's talk about your journey and experience at Mississippi Valley.
Well, after high school, before we went to Valley, we had scholarships. I had Southern Illinois, Stillman, all of them. So we went to Stillman.
Okay.
Didn't like it.
Okay.
So we went to Valley, and they redshirted us the first year. And just to make a long story short, back in the day, you had no rules. I played under 5 coaches in 4 years. Every coach brought at least 7 or 8 players with him. Now, when you bring players with them, that's gonna kick you back and they play.
Right.
So, my fond memories at Mississippi Valley playing basketball was on the bench. I did good up there running track. I had a good track career up there, but I always said this, I would never go back. I told my wife, I said, when I finish, I'm never coming back up here. And she corrected me, and she did what she said. Are you mad with the coaches or the school? And that made sense. I said, well, you're right.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. But actually, I had a good career. I really enjoyed it. I thought that I wasn't going to like up there. I was so homesick, I used to sit out there on Highway 82 and try to see a Harrison County tag come by.
Man, Coach,
and
you
you know that wasn't gonna hardly happen.
You were ready to go home.
we, like I said, we had a good career. Bobby played baseball and basketball. I played basketball and track, so we had a good career. I knew I could have easily probably been one of the top baseball players, but I elected to stay with track.
I got you, Coach. I got you, man. So, you get your degree from Mississippi Valley. Now, where is going through your head? What's going to happen after that? After you graduate, what do you do?
Well, when I graduated, it's 2 things that I said. Number 1, I would never run another mile. and when your clothes start getting too little, you got to get out that house. Second, I said I didn't want to coach, so I did both of them. I came home and got a job with Head Start, and I didn't like it. Then Mr. Cabot hired me to coach, and then I've been coaching ever since.
Man, that's crazy. So Coach, man, you leave, Head Start, you get your coaching job and teaching job. Where was your first school, and where did you start?
Okay, my first job was back at 33rd.
Okay.
I was assistant football coach coaching wide receivers. I had the privilege to coach Jerome Barkham, Melvin Barkham, and all that group. Frank Powell, all those good ones.
Yeah.
But again, I coached football, I coached basketball with Coach Demas, and I coached track with Mr. Owen. Now, Mr. Owen was an Olympic finalist. So I came up under good coaches that were student of the game, and I got a lot of stuff from them, and I always tell these coaches now, if you're a student of the game, then you put if by you knowing what to do, you don't need books and stuff. You just got to get out there and do it, because my only problem with books, all those college coaches, they recruit who they want to write them books. But in a high school, you got to recruit and coach what you have. Sometimes you're going to be good in football with offensive linemen. Sometimes you're going to be good with defense. Sometimes you're going to be good with skilled people. Basketball, you can win them inside or outside. Track, I've won them with field people. I've won them with sprinters. I won them with distant runners. So when you get talent, and I've always said this about coaching, you're going to have that talent for 3 to 5 years, and that talent will go somewhere else. So the question was asked to me, well, how did I win so much? And the answer was real simple. I went got them. I didn't let them come to me. If you was at Gulfport High, you gonna run track.
Yeah, I would tell you a quick story about me. So I just
remember you
like,
coming out there.
you know, football was what I eventually played in college. And I told my mom, said, well, you know Coach Jones gonna come get you. I was like, man, I ain't even trying to go out there. I don't want to do that. Man, you came in that weight room and said, Shabazz, we got track practice at 4 o'clock, and just left. There wasn't nothing. It wasn't no. I was like, man, come on, Coach, man. And you know, and track was fun though. I love track. But I don't know what was in my head. Like, I don't know if I just thought football, you know, I just need football, but it just goes, you need track, Shabazz. You want to get better, you need track. So that was also something funny that you know, my experience with you. But yeah, man, so 33rd, where did you go after 33rd?
When they closed 33rd in 69, I went to West Junior High. I was the 7th grade football coach, the 7th grade track and 8th grade coach. So I was assistant coaches and everything at West Junior High when I first went over there in 1970.
That's right. That's where
right across the street from Memorial Hospital.
Okay. Where did you go after you left there?
When they closed West Junior High, I went to that old Gulfport High. It was Central Middle School.
Okay, that's where with B. Frank Brown.
B. Frank Brown,
so downtown. How long did you stay there, Coach? Do you remember?
Yes, I coached junior high, so I probably stayed down in Central at least 20 years.
Oh gosh. Man.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the sports that you had? You know,
football and track.
See, a lot of people don't. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I knew you was definitely a track guy, but I do remember you being a football coach at Central. You had a lot of success there, man. Yes. You know, you had a lot of talent come through there. I was talking to Leroy Johnson about he was just like how good of a coach he was, and you had Seneca Leroy, Rod Davis, all of them, Carlos Liggins, Antonio Knox, all those guys came through your time, and man, it's just a lot of talent you had, man. At Central, and you won this 9th grade championships after championship. I think you won like 8 of them.
I won 8. Yeah, football and track. 8.
Yeah, yeah, man. So he was deep. All right, so you just steady rising, coach, man, and then the opportunity comes knocking for you to be the track coach at Gulfport High.
Well, that was like when Coach Callahan asked me about it. I said no. I said I didn't want to go to Gulfport High. I'd rather just stay in junior high. Yeah. And I told Coach Callahan, I said, well, the principal and I don't like the principal over there. Okay. His name was Mr. Hart or whatever. Yeah. And Coach Callahan said, well, you're not going to even much ever run into him. Yeah. So I said, okay, well, I'll go over there. So I went over there in 86. 86, okay. And I told Coach Brazil, I say, over here, you have to understand this. When you coach in track, you strictly Gulfport High. But when I'm coaching football, I'm strictly Central Junior High. Yeah. And so when I went over there, this is the first thing, all them coaches at the big schools like the Meridians, Morris Point, Biloxi, they say, well, you won't win over here like you did in junior high. And I didn't say anything, but I said to myself, if I get the athletes that I was getting in junior high, I'm going to do the same thing over here.
You're definitely going to do the same thing. You're going to definitely win.
We finished like 2nd or 3rd in 86, and I learned something from that. See, we used to charter buses up there, and my rules was, when we get there, I want that bus to run all day. I don't want that air condition cut off. And so I had real good trainers.
Yeah.
An hour before your event, you have to get off of that bus and come find me. I'm not gonna look for you. You got to find me.
That's true. This is a truth.
Yeah, and get
It's
your
true.
legs greased down.
Yep.
Get your stretching in.
Yep.
Let me know you're ready to roll. And so we did that, and I learned this. When you go to Jackson, you better have some athletes because you got
gotta
the
have some
best
horses
in the
up there.
world. And so Gulfport High was just blessed, but we had so many of our football and basketball players, and that's been a sore spot in every school nearly about across this coast, especially. The football coaches don't want them to play basketball, and vice versa.
Yeah, it was like that.
Oh yeah.
It was like
and
that.
so when I came to athletic director, I told all of them if I ever hear about that, I'm going to the superintendent.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
It wasn't no problem. Like it was never no problem with like like the players you wanted to come out there so you can contend for a state championship. Like we always had talent and speed out there. So it never was a problem. And you being the AD, I'm pretty sure nobody wasn't trying to go against you. Man.
Well, that's the way I had that in my favor.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, man. So, Coach, man, you did coach football. I just want to ask a quick question, man. Did you ever think, what if I was the, coach
Well,
for high school?
but first, let me just say this.
Okay.
I was offered head football jobs at Pass Christian High, Van Cleve,
Okay.
George County, all them schools, but I didn't want to go because I felt like they little small schools.
Okay.
Now, coaching at Gulfport High, I would be lying if I say I didn't want to be the head coach.
Okay.
Every time when I was real hot at the ninth grade, this is what Coach Callahan says: a good coach, but too weak with the weights. We wasn't even, back in the day, we wasn't lifting a lot of weights like these kids now.
Right.
Plus, I had Coach Floyd with me, who was a better weight man that just come out of college. He was deadlifting by 600 or 700 pounds. He was benching, come telling me to work out with 250. I said no. But again, I like what Steve Williams told me. Steve Williams said, Coach, if you'd have been the coach, a whole lot of us would have been in the pros.
Yeah.
But I say this, Coach Freeman made this statement. He loved the boys coming from Central. And I said, I know why. But basically, I wanted to be the coach, but when I became the athletic director, the superintendent asked me did I want to coach football. And my wife told me to leave it alone. I mean, it hurted at first because I knew I could do it, and then what really got me, when I go back to homecoming, I was known real good in the Delta. All my buddies was head coaches, but I figured that out. All of the people that don't look like us was in private schools.
Gotcha.
And so that's why they was getting the job. But yes, I wanted to be the coach at Gulfport High, but it never materialized. I know one man told me, say, I just want to, before I die, I just want to see you coach Gulfport High 1 year. But it never came. Yeah. It never came forward.
You still had a historical career, man.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you were just honest, man. Yeah, that was a prime time job, man. Gulfport is rich with history, especially in football. They won the first state championship with Coach Floyd.
Yeah.
Steve Williams was on that team too. I always mess with Steve Williams. Steve Williams claims he's from Gaston Point. I said no, you're not, because he went to Surrey City Elementary.
Right.
I said we claiming you now. And so I always mess with him about that. But yeah, those were some good days, man. You just received the honor this year. Last week you got the track and field named after you, man. How did that feel? Coach?
Well, it felt great. I really enjoyed it. I told my wife, sometimes you have to pick your battles that you want to fight. I said if they name it after me, fine. If they don't, it's still fine. So when I found out about it, I was elated. Yeah. And I was happy.
Me too. I'm just glad the school district, Glen East and Company, they really got it right. You're alive to see it. That just made my heart smile, man. You were really here to smell those roses, as they say, man. I want to bring up an old teammate of mine on track, man, Brittany Reese. We brought her on the show as well, and she doing the same thing I'm doing, just saying if it wasn't for Coach Jones, I wouldn't be in the Olympics, because she had hoop dreams, as we say. She wanted to play basketball, and you got on that phone with her and was like, Brittany, if you don't, you gotta let Brittany tell his story, man. But yeah, what did you see in Brittany Reese that was just different? I know what I saw. I remember one day we was doing a long jump, and she was jumping just as long as me, and you and Coach Ford got kind of looked at each other. She never did it before, and you just knew it was something. You've been around it long enough. You just knew. What did you see though, Coach?
Well, the first thing about Brittany, and this is what I did with every kid over at Gulfport High. I went to, people don't know this, I went to every elementary football games on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights.
Okay.
I watched every basketball game, and I watched Brittany sprint that floor as a 7th grader. And I said, boy, this girl here gonna be special. So when Brittany got in high school in the 10th grade, she excelled in track and basketball. So when her junior year, I told Coach Walker, I said, Coach Walker, that's a basketball coach, I say, you could take this period off. I was AD. I said, you could take this period off. I'm taking all your girls to the track. I wanted to have one girl that could jump 16 feet. I had no girl could do it.
Okay.
So Brittany said, Coach Jones, I could do that. I said, Brittany, you already got your 3 events. The 100, the 200, and 2 relay, 4 events.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want you to do it. She said, Coach Jones, I can do it. So I was so disappointed and depressed. Out of 25 girls, nobody could do it. And she jumped, I can never forget it, she jumped 17-10.
Yeah.
And I looked at Coach Florida, and I said, Coach, I didn't read my tape right. And Coach Florida said, no, you read it right, Coach.
Yeah.
I said, Brittany, do that again. She went 18.
Yeah.
And the rest was history.
Yeah.
Her first high school jumping meet was in Biloxi. And then her senior year, she was the #1 long jumper in the nation with 20 feet,
USA
6
today.
inches.
I remember that.
And so Brittany really excelled, and this is what I told her when she went to Perk. She just gave up on track. And so I told her mom, I said, just let me have it.
Yeah.
And we had
exactly what she said.
We had some kind of rough talks.
Yeah, she said that now. She said that.
And so when she started crying, and she said, Coach Jordan, I'm going to Ole Miss for you and run track. I said, well, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And so when she got to Ole Miss, they spoiled her.
Yeah.
She wasn't doing no running, just jumping.
Yeah.
And I said, Brittany, that's not good. I said, you're not going to ever reach your max of potentials until you start running. You got to be in tremendous shape to jump.
Right.
So she met, I want to say, Joanna at an airport one time, and she said, baby, you got to at least run the 50 or 75. I said, that's what I've been telling you all the time. And then everything just excelled for her. Everything that she did was good. I was more than happy for her. And I just told her she had a great college, professional, Olympics career.
Absolutely.
And I asked this question. I say, so why you don't never wear none of your stuff? She got all this stuff she showed to me, but you ever seen her with it on?
No, never seen. She never wear.
She don't wear.
You know, I think my daughter asked me, have you ever seen her gold medal? It was only one time she went to a church to speak to the young lady.
Yeah.
That's my daughter said, I saw the gold medals and you haven't. She picked at me.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I never saw them. I only saw them when she actually won them, but she never wears them.
Brittany was good as gold. And the thing that I like about Brittany, when she left Gulfport, she bought them all new track shoes, warm-up suits, and that's what, I wasn't a coach, but it was not I didn't tell her to do that, but I was glad to see her do that, and that's what you call giving back.
Yes.
I came home one day, and I had Nike tennis, golf balls, shirts. I had all that Nike stuff that she's seeing. Yeah. And I, not that I'm this type of person, I don't ask nobody for nothing. Yeah. But I ain't gonna say no when they
absolutely not.
No, when they give it to me like that.
Absolutely not.
Brittany was just a jewel, tremendous talent, and hated cross country with a passion.
Oh man.
Did she talk about cross country?
She ain't talk about it. No,
she hated it. but I made her do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. One of them. That's a good segue, man. We want to go talk about 11 total state championships. Correct me if I'm wrong. 2 cross countries.
9. I had
9 track and field
and 2 cross
and 2 cross countries.
Mm-hmm.
All right, put you on the spot, coach.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those, well, let's just do the track and field right now. Out of those 9 championships, who was the best track team? What year?
You know,
I knew you were gonna do that.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But only thing that I can say, and I want to say 94.
Okay.
Anytime that you go to Jackson, where you qualify in 14 events and 5 doubles, so we was loaded full of barrel. That year, that's unheard of. We won 7 first places, and so again, I've had so many good ones, but I never had it that easy. I remember we scored 118 points that day. And Pearl was real good, Woody Barnett. So he put in the paper, he say, when you score 80 points at a track meet, that's enough to win it in a 5A competition. So when I look at individual players, I've been runners. I had so many good ones. When I go, one stands out special to everybody to me was Joe Nolan.
Okay.
Do you know him?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I just had so many. And when I do that, when I start naming them, I know I'm always miss some.
Yeah.
I had Anthony Griffin, Rico Griffin, Dwayne Davis.
Okay.
Elliot McGlory was an animal for me. I just had, with just like
Voices.
Charles Hall.
Yeah.
If you could keep his mouth shut.
I can't wait to just come on. Charles Hall, yeah. Charles taught me how to come out the blocks, though.
Well, okay.
He taught me how to come out the blocks when I was a young book. I was a freshman.
Oh yeah, Charles Hall was real good, but then when you come to sprinting, I probably, and what's his name? Hudson, Charles Hudson.
Okay.
Oh, he was a real deal.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, but again, Anthony Griffin in sprinting.
Yeah, Anthony Griffin was.
He ran automatic 10.5. That's automatic time, and then came back and run a 12.5, 12.6 in the 110 high hurdles.
Yeah.
And then he came back and run a 37 in the 300 hurdles.
Yeah, that's different.
And then he told me, he says, he don't want to run the mile relay. I just laughed. I said, well, you gonna run it.
Yeah, that was the
choice. I ain't had number some good ones. I had Rico.
Anthony Griffin.
I had Rico. I had about 3 more good ones. Who was it? Oh, Joe Nolan, Rico, and I needed 1 more. And I put Anthony Griffin in there. You know what he ran? A 49.25. Rico ran a 48.5. Joe Nolan ran 48.3. Yeah. I think that year we run a 306. So that's coming on down. So
yeah, you running.
I just had so many good ones. And one thing I have to say about all of them, we had well, you know about that too now.
Yeah.
We had real good hard workouts.
Yeah.
It wasn't no easy practice.
No, never. The practice was never easy. That's why I didn't want to come out there.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to come out there, man. I was running away from that work, man. But yeah, then you had the second wave when you had Seneca and Leroy and Charles and all them.
Well, but it's just that's what I'm saying. It's just
so many
of them. Yeah. Now, Leroy, to me, was a workaholic.
Yeah.
He was a tremendous athlete, but Seneca was just so gifted.
Oh yeah. He's probably the most gifted one we had.
Yeah. Well, but now he's one of them types that I had to stay on.
Yeah.
I used to tell him all the time when we get through practicing, the time to work on field event, he wants to go lay up in the concession stand. I said, no, buddy, let's go. But I just I say, man. With Seneca and Leroy, they was the when they left, they were probably 2 of my better ones at that time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We done had so many good ones, and I did a survey where I coached over 100 kids to get scholarships that played football and ran track or vice versa.
Right.
So I had, it was just so many of them, and I think Dwayne Davis wrote me a letter, and he said, Coach Jones, I thought you the craziest man in the world.
Absolutely.
But now this stuff is working, and I appreciate it. And when he was at Colorado, University of Colorado. But again, like I say, I don't know which the best team was.
Yeah, man, it's hard to pick, man. I just want to put that pressure on. That's what I do, Coach, man. But Coach, man, don't let this be your last time, man. I ain't gonna hold you. We could talk for hours, man. Just really appreciate you coming on SMACM World, man, and really talk about your journey, man. Beautiful story, man. Beautiful journey, man. I really appreciate you, Coach, man.
Thanks a bunch. Enjoy coming.
Yes,
appreciate
sir, man.
you.
Coach Bye, SMACM World. See you later.
All right, now be good. Be blessed.
Yeah, Chico, talking to the bad guy. Yeah, Chico. Yeah, Chico, you're talking to the bad guy. Toothpicking your eye. I'm that guy. Hey, yo. Look, something happened to these, something happened to you, okay?